it can be like quite bad obviously on a young person's self-esteem to see constantly perfect looking people and being like, why don't I look like that? Hello everyone, I haven't planned this video, but I recently found something that has like ruined my life, and I might just be late to the game. Everyone else might already know about this. This might be old news, I don't know. But to me it was like finding out Santa's not real. It was bad. So today, as you can probably tell from the title of this video, we're going to be talking about kind of editing photos and Facetune and all that stuff on Instagram. Obviously it's not new news that people edit their photos, however, I recently came across a few accounts which are kind of focused around exposing people who like edit their photos, and some of them are like crazy to the point where they look like different people. And before we get into it, I want to just do a disclaimer, which is quite old school, but I'm not like trying to throw hate at people. I myself like to Facetune my photos, you know. If I've got a spot that's not staying in my photo, I'm patching that out. But some of these literally look like a new person. Like, I get you want to brighten your teeth and smooth your skin, but it's extreme. So we're just going to like talk through a few of them and have a little chat about it, because I thought it was really kind of scary, and I think you'll kind of understand why when we get into the video. So I'm going to stop rambling and get into it. So the first account we're going to be kind of talking through is called Celeb Face. I'm guessing quite a few people know about this because it has almost 1 million followers, and it's literally just kind of showing the real photo and then the edited one. I don't know how they get hold of the unedited versions, but anyway, we're going to have a look through because a few of these, as I say, were a bit like, whoa, like calm down. So the first one we have is one I've actually seen before. I think it went around Twitter a few months ago. It's basically just this girl in a bikini on the beach, and it just does a side-by-side of obviously like the picture which ended up going on Instagram and then what she looked like normally. And as you can see, it's like a pretty big difference. Like, I would say obviously angles play a part in it, but like, I'm not trying to be shady, but there's a point where angles will only get you so far, and that's like a completely different body. So I'm not trying to be rude about it because I think she looks perfectly fine in the photo on the right, but I just don't believe that it's perfectly natural on the left, because that's a big difference. Like, the next one we have, I'm not very with it with Instagram people for the exact reason that I don't like following certain like big models and accounts because they just make me feel really bad, so we stay clear of those. So I don't really know these people, but again, we have another one in a bikini. It's not as massive a difference, it's just kind of obviously the photo which ended up on Instagram and then the photo, like, I don't know, a photo which they just were like, nah, let's bin it. The main difference really is on the right, she's obviously a lot more normal looking. Like, I'm not being rude because obviously on Instagram all their photos end up looking really nice, but they're just not very realistic. Whereas if you actually look at the girl on the right, obviously she looks absolutely amazing, but she looks normal at the same time, not like, whoa, what are those proportions kind of thing. Whereas on the left, obviously she's got a super tight waist but still has hips, and I don't know, it just seems a bit weird to me. But obviously there are people out there who have that naturally, but a lot of people don't and fake it. The next one we have, I actually know who it is. It's a Kardashian. I believe it's Kourtney, so I'm not actually that sure. I think it's Kourtney in this picture. Again, obviously a side by side. You can tell in the photo on the left, which is obviously the one that's been like edited, she's definitely tucked in her waist a lot compared to the picture on the right. Also, you can tell like her kind of chin area's been a bit kind of, I don't know, like made smaller in a way. I'd say she's probably done her like, because you know on Facetune, I don't know if you guys do know, but you can kind of like play with colour. Ask James Charles because he's like a pro at it. You can like use colour and like give yourself more contour and stuff. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, I'd say this is kind of subtle, which is kind of what makes it scary. I'd rather people were so bad at Facetune that you knew it was Facetune, because then it's like, at least you don't believe it's real. And again, as I say, I did mention James Charles. He's very open about the fact he Facetunes his photos, and it's quite dramatic, but because he's open about it, it's completely fine. It's when people pretend that they don't edit their photos that I have the problem, because I'm 18 now, but looking back even a few years ago when I was like 13, 14, obviously Instagram's still around then and I was on it. It can be like quite bad obviously on a young person's self-esteem to see constantly perfect looking people and being like, why don't I look like that? So that's kind of my issue with face tuning photos. If it's just subtle, like you just want to, as I say, like smooth out a spot, or I don't know, like subtle stuff, that's fine. But when you're completely changing your body and your face, it's like you don't even look like that, so surely that's not good for you either, if that makes sense. I don't know, like that's just the bit that really like kind of freaks me out, because they don't even look like their photos. But yeah, let's get back to it. I keep going off on tangents. So the next one we have is another bikini one, and I think this one's like a bit more subtle, which is kind of, as I say, what makes it kind of scary. So compared to the photo on the right, her like waist is very tucked in. She's got the proper kind of hourglass figure, whereas as I say on the right she just looks like a normal person. She's also kind of touched up a highlight, so that girl is shining high, and yeah, it's subtle, but at the same time when you look at them side by side it is a big difference, which is kind of scary. I mean, she looks good in both, so like, go girl, you look great, but like, I don't know, I don't know what to say, because as I say, I don't want to slate the girls for using Facetune, because literally everyone does. It's just seeing it side by side is like, puts it into perspective that it's quite scary how common it is, if that makes sense. The next one we have, again, I'm sorry, no clue who it is. I do recognise the face, but I don't know. This is a, what's it called? I'm gonna get the word. No. But anyway, this girl, obviously on the left is the picture that she put on Instagram. On the right is one that the paparazzi have taken, because it says Getty Images at the bottom. Main difference, obviously, again, angles, blah, blah, blah. But she's made herself look a lot darker, so you can tell she's kind of like brought the exposure down. I don't know if she's actually edited the colours, but she's made herself look a lot more tanned. She's definitely snatched her waist in, because when you're just like from the side, no one, well, maybe like really fit people, but most people, your stomach is not like completely flat from the side. You have like a, you know, you've got a little tummy, because that's normal. Hers is flat, and I mean like flat. And her bum, like, I'm not being rude, maybe that is natural, but the shape it's making is a bit odd. So she's got a very weirdly like looking bum. Sorry if that is your normal bum, because that's a bit rude. Face wise, it's kind of hard to tell, because in one picture she's from the side, in one she's from the front. So she could have, I feel like she could have bronzed up again with a bit of Facetune. She's like bronzed up her head and stuff. This is just guesses, like for all I know it's natural, do you know what I mean? But yeah, there was also a few others I saw but now can't find, and there was one where Kim Kardashian edited one of her pictures with her kids, and the girl, I don't know what her name is because I don't keep up with the Kardashians. I believe the girl is called North. If I'm wrong, I'm really sorry. But anyway, the little girl, there's a picture where you have the normal one compared to obviously the one that Kim put on Instagram. If I can find it, I'll put it in. But basically, it made me feel sick, because all she did was make the girl look skinnier. She's like 4 or 5 years old. She made the girl look skinnier, gave her a bigger bum, and then made her head smaller. Like, if you've got your own like issues and you want to edit your photos quite dramatically, that's fine. It's not causing harm to anyone. But I think when you edit a child's photos, especially if they look back at them when they're older, they're really going to question A, why you did it, and B, like, what's wrong with them. It was when I saw that I was kind of, that was what made me make this video, because I feel like it is getting a bit out of hand to the point where you don't even know what is real. Like, if you met someone from Instagram, would you even recognise them? That's kind of the scary question that I think about. But on a brighter note, I don't follow people who, I don't know how to describe it, but I don't follow people who are very like, I don't know, skinny, because it doesn't make me feel good. I follow people who are like confident in their natural body, and showcase it. They're not like editing their photos, it's just like a normal human body, which I like to see. So if I remember, I will link some accounts on Instagram that I do like, because I think it's more important, just if you're following someone on Instagram and it makes you feel bad about yourself, just unfollow them. It's nothing against them, but it's about you, if that makes sense. I've been talking so long, my tea's gone lukewarm. But yeah, I think that's about all I have to say. Let me know down below what your thoughts are about editing photos and Facetune. As I say, I'm not against it, but I feel like there's a time and a place for it. And on Instagram, compared to like a magazine, where you obviously know that the pictures are edited, so there's not as much pressure to kind of look like how they look in magazines. I think on Instagram, because it was made as a platform that's just for like sharing images of yourself, like, I don't know how to describe it, but I think it's a bit more like, it's meant to be more of a realistic place to share photos. That it's got a bit out of hand, but that's just my opinion. If you have a different opinion, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. And a lot of people I've seen who've made similar videos have got a lot of hate. So if you're here to give some hate, at least make it original. Like, yeah. But that is all I've got to say, so I will see you guys very soon for another video.